Truth Serum Nation. The heck was that? The Roadrunner. Some of the guys used to call me the Roadrunner because I made a lot of deliveries. Welcome aboard, everybody. It's the Truth Serum. Let's have a little fun in here today. It's not a 7 o'clock show, but I just want to get it in early and watch college basketball later. So go get a coffee, smoke, go get your chemicals, come hang out. We have a lot of fun here. I interact with the people, and we're just going to keep the show going. So we do what we can. All right. There's a link in the description for the a book I wrote. Oh, and let's pay, before we get started, a couple acknowledgments I'd like to make. Of course, we got to acknowledge. Thank you, the great powers above, that we woke up. Thank you, creation and power and spiritual power. Thank you. Good to be alive. It's good to be alive. All right. It's good to be alive. Let's get these acknowledgments. Don't run for the hills. All right. So that's how we like to do it. If you don't like it, get the F out. That's not good to say after you just show a picture of Jesus, but I don't know. Maybe I'm tripolar or bipolar, We'll blame it on all those psychological labels and crutches, okay? That makes everybody happy. You might end up in a heap, they said. That was fun way back in the day. So who do we got in here? Anybody name, rank, file, and serial number? We won't talk much about politics. We're going to talk about some of the mistakes I made with the Colombos and certain things pertaining to those matters, but we're not going to rush in. We're not going to rush in so quick, all right, and premature. So we're not going to do that. Maybe I can't. Maybe it's going to be crickets. But we're going to keep the show on the road. Just try to keep it going, whatever the hell happens. I've been through it all on here anyway, so I'm immune to it. So let's get right on with it, because people will watch this, and I don't want to stall out the people. Out of respect to the people that are here live waiting, they're my people. So, excuse me. The first mistake, obviously, getting involved with these crazy Colombos, was actually getting involved with the crazy Colombos, number one, and a college educated, high honor student, dean's list and everything like that. And more or less, I just thought when I was looking at the playing field and seeing what everything entails, I actually thought, maybe out of just a greedy thinking mind, that there's a lot of money flowing around in this gambling ring, and maybe somewhere along the line I could just outfox a couple players, a couple actors. I could outfox a couple of them, Phil Steele, how's it going, mate? You know this is an international channel. I talk to the people in here. Liverpool, we got the Beatles in here right now. No disrespect. Lou Ferrante, I don't want to say much about that. Lou Ferrante. You see that you get so much scattered. What is actually, I said this many times on my channels. On my shows, excuse me. Information. I do a channel. I was around in the mix. You have to look at information and what you hear, and how do you classify gossip, gibberish, facts, first-hand information, second-hand information. Unless you see something with your own very eyes, it can be labeled compromised information. Well, Rocky said that Tony was over there doing this or that. Well, Rocky might be full of crap. And then you debate somebody about whatever, and it's just like, what a schmuck. The guy was lying the whole time. So you have to be an expert in human behavior. You have to be an expert in forensic psychology. You have to be an expert in BS, and you could wear all those hats of expertise and you could still miscalculate something. So we leave it up to entertainment. Here we are now, entertain us. Come on, Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. Come on, shout out to Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. We're not dead yet. So thank you, Phil. Thank you. I put in my title, Mafia Graffiti, and biggest mistake. You see so much on the rat channels, the Mike Francis rat channel. You see Sammy the Bull, uh, the rat channels. Phil Steele, I answer everybody here, bro. I'm not a stuck up rat that got tons of money sitting in the bank and they're all rat. I'm not one of them clowns. The YouTube mob tube, what they call, the mob tube Hall of Famers. They're all rats. They're rats. And you gotta pay. You gotta pay for a super chat for them to answer. Well, that's the name of their game. They're used to hustling. They're used to hustling. They have no scruples. They don't have any scruples. They want your socks and underwear, Phil. They want the crumbs off the floor. So that's what we're dealing with here. Okay. So, I said some things and they report me. They report me. The rats that they are. I say some things about some stuff that I believe was the truth or so. And these big gangsters, they report the little old truth serum. They're punks. Sammy the Bull, a punk. Oh, Sammy the Bull Gravano, tough guy, all this and that. At the club, there were 10 tougher guys than Sam. This all sensationalism. It's all hyper entertainment. It's all rat bums that got on YouTube and they saw a hustle. They have a right to hustle. They have a right to hustle, and people gravitate toward whatever they find interesting. But little kindergarten rats that got a report something I might say, and then I get censorship or stuff like that. My channel gets thrown out for a year and a half. By these rats. They're all hiding in their little holes. The only one I got I half like is Dom Chicali. Dom Chicali. When you see all these YouTube characters, MobTube characters, whether he cooperated or not, I have a position on that. But Dom Chicali is for that era, for that era of the mob, which the mob, I mean, look at their captains and bosses during Dom Chicali's era. They would be coffee boys in my era. They'd be coffee boys. So we got to take that into consideration also. But on this whole MobTube stuff, well, of course, Dom Chicali, he keeps selling everything. He's a stockbroker. He's this or that. He tells some stories. At least the little channel I have, the Truth Serum, I've told 1,000 stories, and I don't charge the people to communicate. They can come right in live and talk to me in real time, and they don't have to super chat. Even though I'm not financially secure and everything, I'm not going to sell my ass out to tell Phil Steele or anybody else, I can't answer your question. Put your question in a super chat, and maybe if I get to it, I'll answer it. See, that's what you got to read in the DNA of your mafia MobTube heroes. They're a derelict segment of society, which of course is very entertaining to Joe Public, of course. But looking at it from the outside in, Mike, biggest channel, Sammy, biggest channel, and they're the biggest Hall of Fame rats. But that's all right. Well, if you it should have been set up with, if you cooperated, you can't go on social media and profit from it. You're a criminal, convicted criminal. Just because you rat it and cooperated, it shouldn't give you the right to talk about like Sammy, victims, just like Kaiser, just like the kid Kaiser. Why should he be on YouTube and writing books, profiting from crimes which included a young kid? That's where it gets a little. They have no soul. They come on there, they come on social media, and they're Hall of Fame rats. Dom Chicali started his channel. It's rising up. He's a likable guy. And um, he was a generation or so removed from when I was running around. But the mistakes they made in that Bonanno family and the other families, I mean, the Colombo family is what it is. Might be the dirtiest family, forgive me. The Colombo family might just been the worst bad actors. Well, Mike Francis didn't help that any. You know, Mike Francis didn't help the Colombo family when he speed ratted. So, and that was the beginning of it all crumbling. But I'm not saying Dom Chicali it isn't or wasn't a capable captain of any family, being the Bonanos or Lucchese's or Genovese. I'm not saying he's not capable, but it was a different generation. They come to the club in jeans and shirts. They were not wearing suit. They didn't want to look classy. They look like street freaking delivery boys. That class, that generation of class and honor and loyalty dissipated year to year, generation to generation. It just dissipated. Look at Mike the Washwoman Mancuso. You call these guys captains and underbosses. Mike the Washwoman Mancuso? These whacked out, sketched out looking creeps. No, the mafia is dead. The mafia is dead. No thanks to all the rats out there that have big YouTube channels. But they have entertaining stories. Of course, I mentioned Dom Chicali, but tell us some stories, Dom. Tell us some stories. You're selling a toothbrush gadget that starts your car. Well, come on, tell us some stories. You don't have enough money, Dom? Wow. Likable guy. Likable guy. Let's get back to the Colombos and some of the mistakes that I can look back on. Number one, just getting involved with it. Like I said, a highly educated, a street smart, book smart, whatever that means. And I went to a steel brokerage that was selling steel, and it was part of the Colombo gambling ring. So I went there initially to, I think I was, after the fact, I found out I was half recruited and it looked like it was a coincidence, but somehow I might have been targeted because I was smart and loyal, maybe. And they said, let JoJo do this, and then we'll have him do these other types of responsibilities, and then whatever. You could only guess later on, everybody's passed away. So it was a steel brokerage, and it got, I started making small deliveries for this gambling ring. And my first time I drove up to the club, Mob Club, Sam's place. Hey, Francis Franciotti. That was when I first went up there, delivered some bread and milk up there. And the old man, Sam, he hands me $100 bill. It took me 20 minutes up there. In less than an hour, I made $100. And I came back to the office and I told Mike, wow, he said, well, so he's a nice guy, bum, 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 this or that, So maybe a week or so goes by. He says, you want to go back up? I got a package. You go, sure, I'll go back up. I'm down on making some tips. I'm down on making some money because that steel brokerage, it was tough to sell any steel. It was just tough. It, it just turned out to me to just be doing faxing and just errands for the Mike. It was an office complex. It was two offices, mine and his, and it just turned out I was an errand boy. And I my to sell steel was a tough sell. So I'm looking at other avenues to generate money, which is like being an errand boy for these guys. I could make in one day what I would make in a whole week. So Philly Bob, how's it going? Francis, yes. Beautiful sunny day. We're here. We're enjoying. I know I usually come on at 7, but I couldn't take the pressure. I want to talk about the Colombos and the mistakes. And that's where we have it. So I just do it on the fly. Thank you for the 11 people that are in here. So when I started getting acclimated and familiarized in this new environment and going up to the club, of course, I seen this other guys in the crew, guys coming in and out. Maybe the old man Sam would introduce me to somebody or not. They have the different rules of introduction, and I didn't know any of the rules. You know, I'm not a made guy. I don't know when to speak, when not to speak. I just see guys coming in and out of the kitchen at the club or bouncing around. I can't talk to a guy. You know, I mean, I'm just looking at it just as common sense, just being a regular dude in the world, and you know, say hello to a guy. Oh, did you see the game last week? And then the guy just walks right by, like I'm not even there. So you have to be introduced from a made guy to a made guy, and then you're able to communicate. So yeah, the mistake I made before, I got cocky with that. You know, the first time I got cocky with them, and then I got in big trouble. And my godfather, who was an assassin enforcer for the Colombos for that same said family, he had to help me out with some of those problems I got into. And I used to tell them they're riding me, Mickey. They're riding me. They're jabbing at me. They're talking smack. I'm just supposed to put up with, you know. And he's like, "Yeah, you're supposed to put up with it. Just get the money. Get the money." So in the initial stages of being in that environment, so with that being said, what I just communicated, I started thinking, you know, if any of these guys ever leave their guard down, I'm gonna rob them. If there's an opening when they're drunk after night parties, I'm gonna rob the crap out of them. Come with me. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a tough guy, but it's just, yeah, I'll just don't leave your guard down. And you know, so I played, which is going to be copyrighted. I played because I was on the road. I made a lot of deliveries. You know. So the one guy, he's like, uh, what do you got? Commercials? Oh, you know what I wanted. You know what I wanted to say. You know what I wanted to say. Look at this garbage. All these whacked out commercials, man. You know, You know what they told me? Now I smoke on the channel. Now, what is this whacked out world coming to? You got to say unalived. You got to say unalived on your show. Unalived. Well, when Rocky got Jimmy, he unalived him. You can't say dead. Or you got to block out, if you're smoking, you should block out the cigarette. Block. I don't have technology to edit a video to block out my cigarette. What is going on with this whacked out world? This fragile little cuddled out fruity pie Wimpville. Oh, you should edit and block out your cigarette. Really, really here, Mm, here. And you can't say dead. You got to say unalived. You got to say unalived. What are these? What is it? What's happening to the world? Huh? What's happening? So I tried to make my deliveries real fast. Record time, get down there. They'd say they'd have it scheduled to get to New York at a later hour. I'm like, no, I'll just fly right down there. And I was a little green and naive, but it was a cannonball run because I soon had a bullseye on my back when people were in the inn on when I was delivering the bread and milk. So I used to skirt down there and try to do a record time, break a record. So they'd say, I come back real quick the one time and he's like, yeah, that JoJo, he's like the road runner. Yeah. So here it is. I'm a little immature. I'm a little nostalgic. I'm a little sentimental. YouTube, whatever you want to do with the copyright and all that, there's nothing more you can do to me anyways, okay? I'm going to have my fun. I'm going to have my fun. The Road Runner. Just step aside or you might end up in a heap. Wow. Great lyrics because I was in a few heaps. I got caught up in a couple of heaps where these degenerate gamblers that owe tons of money to the Colombos, other crime families. And I used to tell the old man, Sam, don't let anybody know when I'm delivering the bread and milk. Are you trying to get me just smashed out here? Well, just Johnny was listening the one day, and then somebody said, what? If you can't trust your own crew, how can I trust the crew? I don't have freaking machine guns and 357s and all that kind of stuff. Tough being the road runner out there. You might end up in a heap. The coyote's after you, boy. If he catches you, you're through. We could reminisce here, folks. We could reminisce. Those old cartoons years ago. Oh, Francis, hey, I do what I do. Whatever I get, I get. All right? Whatever I get, I get. I don't compromise for YouTube. I'm gonna say somebody got killed. The guy ended up dead. I'm gonna smoke without having my cigarette blotched out. Edit your video so your cigarette doesn't show. Really, YouTube? I try to tell mob stories, and instead of saying the word dead, I got to say unalived. Are you? What? Right, folks. Everybody goes through life. Whatever will be, will be. But you got to stand on your principles and your morals and your fundamentals for when you are right. Don't bow down. Don't bow down to any authoritative apparatus. Don't bow down. Oh, Jojo, they kicked you off of Facebook. Who cares about Facebook? Zuckerberg, because I called Zuckerberg a punk and a piece of crap. And what do I care about getting kicked off of Facebook? Like, that's a monumental thing to happen. Are people nuts? They live vicariously through Facebook and other communication, being a cell phone. Why don't you pick up a phone and call somebody instead of communicating in these archaic, non-personal ways? Where's the show going? Huh, Francis? From the Road Runner to censorship. We go down a lot of different twisting roads here and everything. But whatever censorship wants to do to me, they can do with me. I'm not going to say unalived. Okay? So do what you want. Do what you want. And I'm going to smoke. I'm trying to quit smoking, but, be careful. You should. So block out the cigarette. Okay? Block out the cigarette. What a candy ass candy ass society they're trying to impose on people in big communication platforms. Is everybody supposed to be, excuse me, pardon me? Men are kissing men on TV commercials. Men are kissing men on TV commercials. Excuse me, I'm so fragile. I'm a little woke punk. What? What? Hmm? Yeah, Francis. The guy got out of hand in Syracuse, and they unalived him. Yes. What great vernacular. They unalived him. Oh dear. What happened, Bruce? Well, I don't know. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they unalived him. What are these people cracking up? No. Stick up for what you believe in, come what may. Okay. So um now getting back to the club, and I think some of the mistakes I might have made while some of these guys, and the imminent their future, of course, was very dark and gloomy. But sometimes I look back and think maybe a mistake was like, because I got personal, try to talk psychological and therapeutic to a couple guys. They were under a lot of pressure. Maybe they seen the end was coming, and I don't know. If you tell them you should have just went to the FBI and cooperated and got spared or whatever, I don't know their fate. I'm not privy to that information. But um, was there something? You always look back when there's tragedies and stuff pertaining to that. And was there something that you could have done? Maybe they call it survivor's guilt psychologically, but when you had, well, like the old man said, you don't have any friends, but you did a lot of friendly things together, and could have, you've done a couple of things uh, to keep them out of jail or to keep them out of the graveyard. It's not my responsibility, but words are powerful, and words could change the trajectory of a person's future in life. So you could beat yourself in the head and have survivor's guilt and stuff like that. Well, that guy was a good guy. Yeah, maybe he tried to rob me or something, but he was just part of that world. But does he deserve that fate? And then, you know, I sat in the car. Guys demanded therapy from me. Like, I didn't want to do it. Guys were like, tell me something. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? I'm like, you really might not like the answers. You might not like the answers that I tell you, psychologically speaking, from a therapeutic point of view of human behavior. You're not going to like that, you know, because I tried to candy coat it a little bit. And he was like, no, tell me something. So I might say something therapeutic that he doesn't like, and I don't want to get him mad, but it's just a crazy psychological. It's like psychological warfare. That's what it is. It's psychological warfare. You're reading people. You're trying to figure them out, and what what's the best thing that could come out of this? What's the worst thing that could come out of it? And I think maybe a mistake I made or something was I should have just said, uh, go to the freaking district 23 30, whatever, FBI uh, office, go in and rat on Mike Francis or somebody. Well, Mike Francis already did his damage. Better to you than someone who doesn't have knowledge or experience. Yeah, you're right, Francis. So it's tough to look at the mafia off a mob tube and movies. It's it's tough to get. You could read a million books. You get a better understanding of the intimate world if you bought my little $8 book. But it's tough to really get the true temperature, the true posture of that everyday life, that everyday world by mob tube channels. The Godfather, A Bronx Tale, Goodfellas do a great job. They do a great job on uh, communicating that life. But It's not even 5%. It's not even. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Francis. I appreciate that. Good woman helping me out. Good woman. I don't make any more deliveries. So thank you. So, of course, MobTube. Thank you, Francis. Of course, MobTube and media and movies and books, it's entertainment. The people have an insatiable appetite for anything mob, but Sammy the Bull Gravanos were all washed out with a million. Mike Francis, they don't even tell stories anymore. Dom Cicali, all he's doing is selling toothbrushes that freaking start your car. Stock market. Tell some stories. If people want mob stories, I should have 1 million subscribers. But I've I got in trouble with the whatever, but that's what you're left with. That's what you're left with. That's the way it goes. When in Rome, do like the Romans. Just like Jesus said, look out who's on the face of that money. Well, the Roman leaders were Julius, whoever the heck they were. They were on the corner. So if you're under that leadership, then you got to follow it. Even Jesus said it. You got to go with the authoritative to a certain extent. You got to follow authoritative rules, and that's a tough teeter-totter. But if they want to tell me to say unalived, if I'm telling a story and I'm supposed to say unalived, all roads lead to Rome. Yeah. And all the tunnels underneath Rome were all them treasures under Rome. Wow. So let me so in thinking about in retrospect, looking back, you wish you could have said something different. A guy owed a ton of money. He owed the Colombos. Then they targeted me, which they were trying to rob their own family when I was delivering the bread and milk. So that didn't look good for them. So I wanted to tell a guy the one time who actually tried to get me, I wanted to just come right out and say, bro, you just I believe you're the one that tried to freaking run me off the road. What's going on here? You shouldn't even be in my car. Mark, ask you. So, what's the name of your book, my friend? They Unalived Missed. That's good, Mark. They dead missed. Should I? No wonder I'm not. They probably blocked the link to the book because it says dead. Well, the new title is They Unalived Missed. Thank you, Mark. They Unalived Missed. What is going on with these platforms and the vernacular you're supposed to use? I mean, some people are highly educated with a high an array of words and now I can't even communicate. I'm supposed to be telling you how well I could communicate, but now I'm stuttering. Now I'm stuttering. That's how whacked out it is. But people there's a lot of smart people that are running around that can communicate effectively, but then you got some type of censorship apparatus telling you, well, use this word instead of that word. Use this word instead of. Who are these people? Marxists? Socialists? Who's the person that texted that to me on my page? Who is that? Thank God for Donald Trump. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your support. Thank you. So you've been watching. I just try to keep things going. They turned me off for a while. Francis has been riding with me, my co-host here. She's a beautiful woman, helps me out. And I try to, of course, if you've been around, we talk about the mob and all that. But of course, I try to rise people up in their thinking, you know. So Mark says, yeah, but the censorship is ridiculous. Seems like they don't know what else to do. Well, when I got censored, I was talking about I was going hard to the hole when I got censored, and they didn't like it. My little channel, because at that time my channel was rising up, and I would have had 50,000 subscribers by now. But no, they decided I'm speaking on things that they don't like because maybe it might have been political. It might have been political driven. So they don't like it. Little old me. Why didn't you censor the Cartier family? Why didn't you censor Dvory Darkins? Why didn't you censor why? Because you make a lot of money in ads on those channels. See, that's the difference. It's all about that dollar and political. It's money driven and it's political driven. So they seen me coming up, fresh, young, good looking 61-year-old rising up. And they didn't like what I said about political stuff or other types of things. And they said, let's get him now. Let's give him a timeout in the corner. Mm-mm. Can I smoke YouTube, or should I edit it so I could put block it out? Wow. At this point in time, yes, I like interacting with the good people that come in here, but whatever they do, they're going to do. Whatever happens, if I go down swinging, and my mom would be proud of me. God rest her soul. My mom would be proud of me for whatever happens on YouTube. I love my community, but my elders would be proud of me. That don't change for some Chinese censorship that's running these social media platforms. Okay, no, I'm not going to bow down to whoever's running these media corporations. Do what you want. Do what you want. I can't smoke and I can't say the word dead. Really? Really? And I'm trying to tell Mafia stories. Can I take a sip of coffee? Or should I block out the coffee? You know. Thank you, Francis. Control, divide, and bring you to, well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like to have fun. I like to have fun. It's the people's channel. They come on, we rock and roll, we talk about stories. You never know what we're going to talk about. I miss the club. I miss the socialization. I miss all that. Yeah. Mark says, you're absolutely right. And the cigarette thing has to be, I'm trying to quit. Yes, I know. I was an athlete. I was a distance runner. I was an athlete. I used to get pissed off when people smoked around, you know, but yeah. Yeah. They want to do that. They got men kissing men on TV. They got the vaping going nuts. It's such a contradiction. Everything is a contradiction in this world. They slowly try to penetrate a person's mind and turn them. You know, like the FBI tries to penetrate a gangster's mind and make them cooperate. Well, that's what the censorship apparatus and these people try to do is, and socialism and communism is, they got to penetrate your mind until you surrender, and that becomes the norm. So they want a new norm. They want their normal, their definition of normal. Their definition of normal is fruity, it's sketchy, it's socialist, it's communistic. And I'm not bowing down to that. I'm from a military family that shed blood on the battlefield for freedom of speech. You cracking jokes? I'm gonna bow down. Mm-mm. So they would be proud to say at least JoJo got up there and didn't compromise anything for some YouTube channel that's probably owned by these foreign companies. Mm-mm. Screw China. China is supposed to be America's enemy, okay? What are they doing censoring social media in America? Hmm? Huh? Trying to tell me what to do. Go back to China and do whatever the heck you want to do. Trump's in office and he ain't playing. Bow down. Oh, Jojo, they're gonna bar you. They're gonna see how indoctrinated they already got people's brains. They indoctrinize people into fear. See, once you introduce fear into a person's mind, they give up everything. Just like the rats on MobTube. That's why in the Bible it says, fear not. Fear not. A term that's used in the Bible more times than any other term in the Bible. Fear not. Fear not. If you're a Christian, you're already on the right side. You're on the right team. So don't fear what you say on your channel. Don't fear what. Well, they're going to be mad at you. Really? You got to go through this world. This world, they try to turn you. They try to turn you into this little fruity pie weasel, and then you have to go out into the world, and the world could be a vampire that wants that blood, and you're not going to make it. You got to stand on something. Painted black, black. What's up, mate? You got to stand on something. Be confident. Don't live in fear. Get your spirituality in order and take over your own power. That's all. I love my community in here and all that, but at the end of the day, it's a YouTube channel. Yes, I put a lot of time and work and done 1,000 videos, and yeah, but at least I still benefited from socialization out of it. Of course, I'd want it to grow and all that, but they got me so backed up on the algorithm. They're not putting my videos up there. I'm the caboose. I'm the caboose. I'm not even in the algorithm unless unless you hit the notification bell. You ain't ever gonna see upcoming video from the Truth Serum. I'm not even in the algorithm. I understand what's at play. And with all that being said, I refuse to be censored. That's all. So don't go on my page saying, oh, don't say this, don't say this. They'll get mad. Well, let them get mad. Let them get mad. Well, what are these people? They're coddling this generation to be so soft. Just coddled out soft generation. Wow. Soft generation. So thank you, Painted Black. Black, everything's good here. I decided to do the show earlier, talking about some of the mistakes that I'm thinking back that I could have made being around those wise guys and in retrospect. But you sometimes you might have survivor's guilt when I don't know the fate of a lot of the stuff that happened to the people. I don't know the fate. When I was done and everything, you could hear rumors and things about people, but you never know. Some could have ran to the FBI. Some could have got smashed out. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't a made guy. I didn't. You know. I didn't even want to ask my godfather or my cousin Victor, who were embedded in New York City. I want to know. You don't know. You don't ask questions about, oh, Mickey, remember the guy at the club that the mole on his face? Well, you don't communicate that kind of stuff. What's up, Ronnie? So you don't speak on it. You just talk about everyday life stuff, whatever everyday stuff. Hell with the mob. Hell with it. Hell with it. I only respected three guys: my godfather, my cousin, and Sam the Boss. I was around 50 other guys in the mix. I didn't have no respect for them. Three guys. Three guys. The old timer, Sam the Boss, and that's it. I didn't care. I took stupid chances, but I didn't care about robbing this drunk who would smash me out at any minute. And like the old man told me, he's not your friend. Who cares if you gamble together at the racetrack and you're having dinner? Jojo, he ain't your friend, in case you haven't realized that by now. Who do you think's trying to rob the bread and milk when you're on the road? So you got to process all that stupid stuff, but it's important stuff. Thank you, Painted Black Black. We try to have fun over here. And I like to integrate, because I've been spared many times, divine intervention in my life, divine intervention since I'm 4 years old. And I don't want to try to impose to be a Bible thumper and stuff like that, but it's a spiritual world that we live in. We're a physical entity, but the spiritual realm rules the physical realm. Now, you don't have to be a Bible thumper. I'm not going to read a verse out of Psalms, but you got to realize that's why if you don't get your vessel, if you don't get your house in order, your house, your body, is your house. If you don't keep it straight, you're gonna you're gonna have demonic entities coming in and invading. So don't go down like a chump. Don't go down like a chump. I've seen the angels and demons with my very own eyes. Don't go down like a chump. I'm not gonna preach any sermons over here, but if you're caught up in a spot, don't go saying, and you're not interested in spirituality. You have a right to be interested in spirituality or not. But if you happen to be caught up in a predicament, don't be like, please God, please God. Well, then, no, now it's convenient to ask God for a favor because you're in a crisis. So you're just a convenient Christian. If something goes wrong, then you're just a convenient Christian. Like, there's a toolbox, and I'll just use God if I need this tool at a certain crisis in my life. Spot on. Thank you, Painted Black. Black. I've had some interesting times with regards to, I'm not trying to. There's religion, there's religiosity, and there's spirituality. Whether a person's religious or not is one thing, but spirituality is concrete. The spiritual realm is absolute. So it's not for debate. There's different religions. There's different religions and things for that aspect. But when you gravitate to a religion, what's the spiritual requisites? A religion, is one thing, but what are the precepts of the spirituality they're in? Some of them could have common things, love and compassion in your spirituality, which many spiritual and religious factions could, adhere to. Others might be radical and things like that. But spirituality is universal. It's concrete. It's absolute. So when you're in the world, then you try to get things better in your favor. Try to increase your odds of having a good life, having a prosperous life, have the things you need. You can have fun with your friends and families, and you could be sound. You can be grounded in good life experience. We're only here for a blink of an eye. How do you want your life experience? Try to utilize the things that will help you in that journey. And don't get caught up in using spirituality and gods and stuff like that as a tool just when you're in some kind of trouble. and religion is business as usual. Yeah. So, yeah. Even Catholicism and Christianity, they crucified Jesus. They crucified Jesus. The Romans are the dirtiest. The Roman Catholic, I'll say, is the dirtiest, worse than the Mafia. The Roman Catholic Church, they have more assets on planet Earth than all the countries put together. They're worse than any mob family. So you got to put things in perspective, I guess, Francis. But just try to use the things that can rise your life up. If you're in your 20s and 30s, get a grasp of it now. You don't want to be on a merry-go-round going, well, why'd that happen? Why'd that happen? Oh, geez, why'd this happen? Why'd that happen? If you think you're exempt from demonic impressions, what I don't want to get too deep into it, okay? But you got media, you got what you see with your eyes, what you see with your eyes. And then how do we get a thought in our head? How do you get a thought in your head? Are there negative thoughts that are going, yeah, do that? Ooh, wow, yeah, yeah. Sinful thoughts. Well, how is that thought born in your head? And if there is one, how do you put that fire out? You got to be aware of the spiritual warfare. So don't cry about it later on when your world become unraveled. I used to do couples therapy, and I used to want, I don't want to get too much with therapy with a husband and wife and stuff, but if you're going to be a cheater, where was that thought born from? I didn't get too psychoanalytic on some dude that's cheating or some lady that's cheating, but where are these thoughts born from? Your secretary's really sexy, and boy, yeah, there's some thoughts that can roll around in your mind. Yeah, boy, she's fine as hell. But you better process them the right way, because the devil is just laughing. The devil's like, yes, listen, Billy, you're going to have an affair with your secretary. You're going to go through a hard divorce. You're going to lose everything. And where'd that thought come from? Because you ended up having an affair with that secretary who was fine as hell. So was that 3 times of getting down and dirty? Them 3 times you were with that secretary, was that really worse? Was that lust worth losing? Your children now got to come for visitation. You lost your house. You paid so much for a divorce lawyer. See, where are these thoughts born from? The devil's telling you, yeah, you can do it. The devil's like, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, go ahead, get her. Or yeah, go hurt this other person. Yeah, you can do it. The devil's is he's an inspiration. He's an inspirationist. That devil. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. You mean I can, I can go to that hotel with her and nobody will find out about it? Yeah, nobody will know. Nobody will know. You can go to that hotel. It's called the No-Tell Motel. You can have an affair on your spouse. You can have an affair. Nobody will know it. Little do you know, the front desk clerk is her first cousin. Yeah. So it all comes crumbling down. We talk about everything on this channel, I guess. How do we get there, Francis? Painted Black, Joel Gold, coming in late. The door's always open, folks. The door's always open. You know how I do it. Thank you, Francis, for supporting me. I can't tell you I can't thank you enough for the people that donate. I really can't, I believe me, I need it. Okay. I'm not gonna play the boohoo symphony, but that's good. You know, that's good. I'm not gonna talk smack about other types of things, but there's enough crazy mafia stories and everything. We could chalk it up under entertainment. Yeah, but uh outside of that, outside of entertainment, people have their lives. How do you choose to live your life? I made a lot of mistakes. I might have gained a lot of knowledge on all these topics, but I ruined my life. So, you can utilize and accumulate knowledge in science and math like me and business and but I did good in my younger years, but I didn't have no retirement plan. But so you can utilize and gather knowledge, but let it benefit you down the road. But I had a lot of fun through, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. That I have a beautiful daughter that I'm close to, and that's all that matters to me. Whatever went on in yesteryear, I have a 36-year-old daughter who works abroad, and she still says, I love you, daddy. So that's better than a car. That's better than a house. That's better than 100,000 in the bank. I got a daughter that I'm close to, and she says, I love you, daddy. That's priceless. That's the commodity. That's the commodity that I want first and foremost. Yes, I want to live comfortable, yes, but give me that relationship. We're all going to pass someday, but at least in this time, at least I know that I was able to achieve a father-daughter relationship that was beautiful and priceless. I don't want to start crying on this channel now. It's supposed to be mob stories. It's supposed to be mob stories. Thank you, Francis. You're the champ. You're the Hall of Famer. You're the Hall of Famer here. You're the Hall of Famer. When Trump did that speech, when that little kid, the little kid that was hugging him for the brain surgery, how could you not want to cry? How could you not want to cry? When Trump was doing the address to Congress, and all the Democrats were just sitting on their hands. All the Democrats were just sitting on their hands. When the widow and the two children of the guy that got killed in Butler, they were just sitting on their hands. What kind of evil entity are those Democrats? Good humanistic love and compassion stories. You're looking at Chuck Schumer, that mongrel. You're looking at Nancy Pelosi, these evil demons. You're just looking at them. These Democrats that are just sketched out. Hey, Mike Amari, man, they let you out. Oh, you had a hospital. God bless you. I hope God helps you. Yeah. So that was very interesting. And a lot of the wise guys had big hearts. I'm glad you stressed that, Francis. And I remember that leads me into a story. Francis, you're my co-host. Francis, my beautiful co-host. During Christmas time, holidays, well, some of the politicians would come around the club and get whatever dealings they were with the old man. And of course, there was envelopes going back and forth. But I had to go around with another guy because I didn't know where all these different types of youth centers, the YMCA, the boys club, certain types of charitable places. And I had to go around, and Sam had all the envelopes and he wrote the names on them, and he would say, uh, uh, Bill's going to give you or Bill, just take Bill around. Hey, Rob B, how you doing? God bless Mr. Bergio and his beautiful family. Beautiful family. Thank you, RB. So I'd have to go around, and one of the guy knew the ropes, and he would give the envelopes. Charitable. Sam had a heart. Sam had a heart. When he knew my daughter was young, and he said, I had pictures, of course, in my wallet. And he said, look, oh, that looks like a family member of his. Well, he knew I was hustling to try to help my family. He respected that. And I was doing the right things to try to accumulate money. So Sam had a heart, and he gave tons of money to charities. That's when we went to I believe it was the youth center or something, where they had the ping pong tables and the paddles. And that's when one of the guys I was with thought he was good in ping pong, and he didn't realize I grew up on a ping pong table. So I hustled some of those guys down the road. You heard the stories. I've told the stories about it, but I hustled them down the road. Ping pong. Jimmy, Debbie, if you watch, but they were good. They were good ping. Thank you, Mr. Bergio, and the great Bergio family. You know what I really like? I mean, just like anybody else, just like anybody else in this world, what are you left with? What's life all about? What is life all about? What you're sometimes you get so immersed into it, and you never step aside and go, what am I trying to accomplish? Am I getting close to these goals? Am I getting distracted? Am I getting off the beaten path? So you got to put things into perspective. And when you can handle your family and you can handle your business, the factory worker that takes 2 buses to put now to keep a family, it seems like it should just be a given, but the family unit has been so compromised through divorce and imprisonment and things like that. But hardworking women, hardworking men that keep their family going, that's what it's all about. And Mr. Bergio, I have the most respect for a man like that. Good, well-intended guy. Just good, well-intended guy. At a young age, he's got wisdom. At a young age, I wish I had that wisdom at his age. Debbie, I remember the ping pong table in the basement. Well, I profited from it down the road. I worked the card games. I worked the card games in these big mansions, and there was recreation rooms. These were $1 million houses 40 years ago. $1 million houses, and it's like I was working the game, coffee, giving them the food or drinks, and there would be off time, just play ping pong, and they thought they were the best in the world. So I hustled a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. So Francis, thank you, Francis and Robert. So we go through life. There's many distractions. Well, that's why Jesus says, if you got eyes to see, then see. If you got ears to hear, and hear. And what do we allow? What do we allow our eyes to see? What is invading our vision? What are we letting? What are we hearing? Keep your guard up. Keep your guard up. Italian Stallion, what the heck's going on you? Italian Stallion, I have to tell you, Joe, but all the old school, yeah, I'm a Democrat. Italian Stallion, we're Democrats. We're Democrats. Yeah. We were Democrats, historic Democrats, but I'd like to believe that we're thinkers and we can demonstrate logic and reason when we see whacked out candidates that happen to be Democrat. So we just don't stay aligned with these psychopath Democrats. How can you hitch your wagon? I'm 4 generations Democrat, but I'm for the person with sense. I'm for the person that has some common sense. That's all. So thank you, Italian Stallion. Been a long time. I have to tell you, yeah, I've discussed that before, So I'm impressed by the person, back to Robert and others, I'm impressed by, now my mom raised 5 kids on her own. And so, it, you should, some might say, well, it shouldn't be such a chore for a father to handle a family unit business. But the family unit has been systematically destroyed decade to decade, where you might not get the parents and the children sitting at the dinner table. Where do you discuss, when do you engage with your children? A lot historically, it's at the dinner table. Billy, how's everything going at school? Sally, how's everything going at school? hockey going? How is soccer going? You interact. You're involved with your children's life. It might be at the historical dinner table, but how many parents sit down at 5 o'clock and eat with their children? Yes, women work, men work. The schedules, uh, uh, the schedules are different, and so it's tough, but you still have to communicate effectively. You could still nurture. You could still nurture however you need to. So I put that in high esteem, where of parents, men and women, whatever hats they're wearing, mother and father, handle their children. That's all the real commodity you got. That's your only legacy. Money and wealth and cars and houses, they come and go. But your child is the only true commodity that you have. Your legacy is all that will be sustained. When you're gone, your car will be gone. When you're gone, your bank account might be inherited. Or when you're gone, your house will be gone. Your legacy will live on. So you need to pay more attention, people out there, to nurturing them children the right way. And these Democrats are against that. The Democrats want your children to be sketched out and whacked out, and that's why I'm so adamant and very, very focused on delivering my message, even if they want to censor me, because they're trying to break down the fabric of life. They're trying to break down the fabric of mothers and fathers and children. They're trying to turn it to a freak show. So if they want to censor me, censor me. I'm going to go down swinging, because no matter what my mother taught me, and also what the Bible says, stick up for yourself if you're on the right team. So we get it all in here. So thank you, Rob. Good, Rob. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you. I don't want to start crying on here or anything like that, but so I respect that. I respect that. Guy out there, guy, they're trying to do the right thing by that, and the mafia, of course, but a lot of these mobsters, they didn't set their families up for the future. Maybe a lot of them thought they didn't have a future. Maybe all they saw was a grave. Maybe all they thought was life in prison. Maybe they couldn't structure finances that far ahead. A lot of them were degenerate gamblers. But I don't have total recall. I don't have total recall, but I know in some of my dialogue and conversations with some of these gangsters that wherever we were hanging out or having dinner or lunch, I was asking, are you salting money away? Are you salting money away for kids' college? And or what if you go to prison? Is there money? Is there emergency money sitting away so your family could maintain? You blew 100,000 in 4 months. Is there money? So are you going to blow? You could be a degenerate gambler, but is your family, say you get smashed or you go to prison, are you set up financially? And I would say 40% were. I would say, Francis, have no fear. I'd say 40%, just in my anecdotal observation, maybe 40%. The other 60%, they're going to rock till they drop, and whatever happens, happens. And I thought to myself, you're risking your life. You might as well just go get a job in a factory to make sure that your children are. But the mafia family comes first. The mafia family comes first before little Billy and little Sally? No, I didn't ever get made. I would never get made. My blood family comes first. My blood family comes first. Mm-mm. Who agrees to that? The old timers only had third or fourth grade education. Yes, Francis. The old timers had a lot of them, but a lot of them gained wisdom and knowledge. You could have an academic education, diplomas, degrees, doctorates. You can have a lot of achieved education on a lot of things, but wisdom, you can't get wisdom from a academic from academia. You can't get wisdom from academia. I think the old man went to fifth grade or whatever. He started shining shoes and hustling newspapers and started doing things around the mob and then just worked up, and it is what it is. There's no direct correlation. Of course, college, they say college educated, a college degree will get you more or less this income bracket, but it doesn't put constraints on your education. Doesn't mean that you can just stay in one economic bracket. You can, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. So very interesting stuff. It's the truth serum. We talk about everything on here. But at the end of the day, I do try to demonstrate that I was spared from health problems. I was spared. I got spared from running around the crazy mob when I could have got smashed out. I was spared a lot of different times. So every day is important to me, especially as you get older. Every day is important. So there's mob stories and stuff, and there's entertainment, but you got to handle, you folks pay bills, you folks have everyday lives. How you choose to live them is your own prerogative. But you want to tip the scales in your favor. You want the best of it going in, like in probability and statistics and a lot of systems they would try to use to have an advantage. So if you're gambling, there's some type of gambling system. Some work, but some don't. But you want to develop anything in life, in business, in love, in marriage, in everything. You want to have the best of it going in. How do you posture yourself? How do you get there to have the best of it? Just don't go into something and you're not that well versed in it. You're not going to fare that well in it. You need all the tools you can get in this world. You need to have a toolbox that can handle all the fixer-uppers, all the things you need to fix like that. Some things are tougher than others, but you need to get the best of it so you can have an advantage, because the devil doesn't go to sleep. The devil doesn't take summer vacation off. The devil works overtime. You can't let your spiritual guard down. So you got to have the best of it. And if your spirituality exists or don't exist, just go on and live life without any spirituality. Go ahead. You might fare well, you might not. But if you don't fare well, don't go back to God praying to God. If you're a fair-weathered Christian or spiritualist. So get it in order. I had the total blessings of God and the guardian angels when it counted. So anything that happens to me is gravy now. But we were brung up Christian. I used to follow Christianity. I used to read and everything. And maybe, I don't know, maybe God, angels said, that kid is a good believer. He's a true believer. He goes off the beaten path, but he's a true believer. And if he's in a crisis, maybe we'll have his back. I defied all the medical, I divide the whole medical industry. I defied it. Just the fact that I'm talking like this, I defied it. I'm supposed to be an invalid. I defied it. Because there's a spiritual world out there that has dominion over the physical world. God doesn't care about what some doctor tells my family. God don't care about the doctor saying, well, it don't look good for him. He's been on life support for a year. If he comes out of it, he's going to be infirmarized, an invalid. Somebody's going to have to wipe his butt every day. The great physician is God. Then you got the world. So the devil's going to tell you you can't do it. The devil's going to make you, the devil. And by the way, the devil's on a good run. The devil's had a good decade. The devil's had a good century. The devil's had a good millennium. The devil's on a winning streak, in case you haven't noticed. The devil's on a winning streak. Thank you, Debbie. God told the devil, who was one of the most beautiful angels in heaven, God said, yeah, you ain't going to be bigger than me, Lucifer. You are not going to be bigger than me. I'll give you dominion to rock and roll on planet Earth and get who you can get. But my children will truly know who their father is. So go to the earth and see who you can get. I'll give you dominion. It sounds like a bad setup, but that's what we're left with. So he was the most beautiful and powerful angel that got kicked out of heaven because he got too big for his britches. And God said, go see who you can get. He's the great deceiver. So don't be on the wrong side of it. Don't be on the wrong side of it. All right, folks? So, yeah, I pray Psalm 91 over the family every day. Yeah, thank you. So you heard it all. Welcome back, Italian Stallion and Mike Amari. Francis, thank you once again. I'd love to shake your hand. Maybe a hug or maybe a hug. Maybe a kiss on the cheek. Maybe I should end this video right now. All right, don't get me stuttering. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. See, when you got beautiful people, that's money. That's money. That's money in this world. Great relationship is money. It's money. Mike, all right, Michael Murray. Painted Black. My mate from the UK. Quantum Effects Residue. Ronnie Pinder. All right, good people. Mark Askew. Thank you once again, Francis. Why you got me stuttering? Phil Steele. All right, Phil Steele. You come in here, I'll answer any question you want. So, yeah, there's the like button. Hit the notification bell. Usually it's 7 o'clock. And, you know how we do it here. And we'll just keep rocking and rolling and be the kings and queens of your world. Don't give up. The world is a vampire. It wants that blood. No, put your thinking, your mind, soul, body, and spirit, get it in order and enjoy life and laugh. Be comfortable. Okay? Don't be distracted. Okay? You'll hear a lot of flatta. No. No, you got one at bat. It's called life. Your life. You got one at bat. Don't get caught looking. Don't get caught looking. All right, folks. So there it is. There's a link in the description for my book. There's a Cash App. There's all that good stuff. But at least hit the like button if you like me. If you don't, well, find something else on the smorgasbord. All right. Thanks a lot, folks. Have a great weekend and stay great. And if you need help, talk to somebody. Okay? Don't be a macho man. Talk to somebody. That's a sign of strength. Don't be a macho man and have all this craziness build up in your head until you implode. No. That's a sign of strength. Communication. Words. In the beginning, there was words. And in the word, there was life and death. Words, baby, words. All right, folks. Stay blessed. God bless you. Thank you, Robert, for helping me out. financially. Thank you, Francis, for helping me out financially. And thank you to the rest of you good people that come in here and help a guy out. We're going to keep the show on the road as long as they don't throw me out. All right, folks. So we'll leave it at that. God bless you all.